Our LinkedIn Live series on recruitment abroad. To date, we've done Australia and the US, and I think a lot of you are quite familiar on those markets and what it's like to get there. But we've got a special one today. We're going to talk about Japan, and I am joined by two experts and legends of the local game, Alex Zoboli and Matt Nichols. How are you, gentlemen?
We're good. Yeah, feeling legendary after that intro.
Thank you, Matt.
I nearly got the drum roll going there. So I know a little bit about your story. How did this beautiful relationship come about between you both?
Shall we say that the political version of it, of course.
The PC version.
Yeah.
So do you want me to tell it, or do you want to tell it?
Go for it, man.
So yeah, I had just become manager and director of what was then a really small part of a big Japanese recruitment company, the international part of it, and it was an absolute nightmare. And we had 19 people. Somehow a rec introduced Alex, who was working for Hayes at the time, and I think was their Asia Manager of the Year, and was just exactly the kind of guy that I needed to sort this business out and do it together. And luckily we, on paper, it might not have been an amazing move for you actually. But luckily we met and we hit it off, and, straight away got the same ideas about how we want to recruit. And then the relationship developed, and we turned that business from 19 people to 230 people in 4 years. We did a really good job, and then we decided to set up our own business from there, and we're still mates, which is an achievement,
Well done. And you're part of a bigger group that has offices in Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai as well. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
We're opening in Thailand.
US.
So did you guys launch in COVID or just before?
Just before. We launched in
October 2019.
October, yeah. So like 3-4 months before, really, and then COVID hit.
Oh, it was nuts, wasn't it? Because there was 4 of us sat in a room and thinking, okay, we're going to kill this, and then the trickle of COVID stories started to come through, and we'd never anticipated what happened, but hey, we got through it, and here we are today.
Fantastic. It's pretty scary. I was setting up a couple of things in COVID as well, and just reshaping what we were doing, and you just don't know where the end is in sight, and you've gone for this thing. You must look at it now and just be super proud. What's the head count at the moment?
We got 55 now.
Yeah.
55 people, I think. As of beginning of next quarter, and we grew. We've been open for less than 3 years.
Yeah, that's insane.
50 people. Yeah, we're hiring. Quite consistent. We're hiring like 5-10 people every quarter. So probably we'll finish on maybe 60 something, I think, this year.
Yeah.
And the goal for us is to build another 250 people business in Japan, really.
And what type of sectors? So tell me a little bit about the Japanese market, because I'm obviously rubbish at selling it because I haven't sent you anybody in a couple of years.
Yeah, it's a market. I think a lot of people, especially who don't speak Japanese, think they can't work in or they can't recruit it, and actually the opposite is the case. So it's kind of split into 2 sectors. You've got the domestic sector, which is Japanese recruitment companies recruiting for Japanese businesses, right? And then you've got the international sector, which we work in, which is multinational companies who want bilingual Japanese talent. The kind of key points in the market, there aren't actually that many Japanese people that speak business level English. It's a tiny percentage. So it's a super candidate short market. The demand is
insane,
incredibly high. Our fees, 40%. And that doesn't really get sniffed at too much. So we're working on really high.
Making a mental note of that for when we have our other conversation.
I think you still got us a good fee last time. But, really good fees, and I think just the way you're treated as a recruiter. I think I heard a previous podcast where the guy in the US was saying a similar thing, in that you're really seen as a valued business partner for your clients. They desperately need to hire bilingual talent. So you're really important to them. It's, in non-COVID times, quite easy to get client meetings, dinners, lunches.
Signing up clients as well is very easy. I think that for me, the analogy I use all the time is like, clients look at you as an agent, like a football agent. And you got to source them like really the hottest,
Alex, you do look like a football agent, in fairness.
Yeah. I might do it.
Yeah.
And so what, I'm a recruiter, I land there. How do I do my business development to talk to somebody in like to pick up a job, and like how does that all work in a whole new world?
It's same as like every other part of the world, really. And again, we us and all the other major bilingual firms, Hayes, Michael Page, Robots, all these kind of guys, we operate in a sort of like a tiny fraction of the Japanese market, which is again the multinationals, really, right? So all your candidates and clients most of the time are either executives, that they are expats basically, that they're running, I don't know, Coca-Cola or IBM or whatever, right? Google. And the candidates you place are Japanese people that speak English that work for your client's competitors, basically. So all the business is done in English, basically.
And the sourcing, is it done within Japan mainly, as opposed to bringing people from the outside in?
Yeah, all our clients want local Japanese people that are working for their competitors, basically.
Yeah, the native Japanese language abilities, that's what makes it a candidate short market. That's why you can't, apart from maybe in IT where technical skills have slightly started to outstrip Japanese native language ability, but most people require that, so you can only find that in Japan.
And it's already as well. It's like totally Tokyo centric.
It's Tokyo centric. And if I'm speaking to a candidate in Japan, is there like social things that I should be aware of in how I like not be this version of myself that can be a bit offensive? Or
you've got to learn how to bow, especially when you make a mistake. No, but seriously, I think actually our attitude is a little bit different. I think you can go full in on the Japanese culture, and actually most of the people we deal with, they're quite westernized in a way, and they speak English. And I think honestly the best people who do really well in this market are just themselves. We approach business the same way as we would do in London or wherever else, and it works in this market. I think actually the people that care too much about the kind of cultural quirks and should I be doing this and where should I sit in the meeting room and all this kind of stuff actually don't do as well.
Yeah,
paralysis by analysis, right?
Yeah. I think you have maybe slightly like nuances within the market, of course. So you probably can't be as aggressive as you would be maybe in the US and UK, right? You have to turn it down a little bit, I think, but you have to be a little bit more sophisticated around things, because Japanese people are very passive themselves, right? So they don't react well to really, really strong pressure, I think. So you have to be a bit elegant, I think, in applying pressure to candidate and clients, but you still have to do it, basically.
How long does like a process take? Say you pick up a job, you take a requirement. What's expected from there?
It's longer. It's longer on average. So it's not unusual for jobs to be open for 12 months. In Japan, it's very much a case of decision by committee. Nobody wants to be the person that actually is seen to make the decision. So you get a lot more steps in the interview process because everybody has to kind of meet them. So it gets elongated a bit. And I think the best recruiters are those guys and girls that can shorten processes, influence, same in any market, but can influence that side of it, because that's I think the one downside of the Japan market is it's super slow, but once you crack it, the fees are massive, and the commitment you get from clients is more than you would find in other markets.
Is there like key job boards that you use locally that aren't international, or is it mainly done through LinkedIn, or how does?
You mean for sourcing candidates?
Yeah, and just
Yeah, so LinkedIn is not effective really in Japan. I think I would say probably about 30% of professionals are probably on LinkedIn.
Even less. I mean, they're bilingual. go Microsoft or Google, Japan, they probably have an organization of, let's say, 5,000 people, 6,000 people. You probably have 200 on LinkedIn, something like that. So the penetration is really ridiculous. If you go even like Salesforce or those kind of companies, just nobody, right? And of course, everybody's, hitting the same pool of candidates, right? So even if they are on LinkedIn, they don't really engage much on the platform, I think.
Yeah. So we use some good local job boards, where actually some of them are really good, where candidates actually pay to sign up for the job board, and we get some quite good exclusive candidates there. We've got the resources to use all of those. But we do some old school stuff as well, which really works because it's so Tokyo centric, the market, that networking events, actually brilliant. We get a lot of good candidates.
Referrals,
pushing referrals hugely. So yeah, we're a little bit old school sometimes in how we generate candidates.
Have you guys got any success stories of anybody who's come into the business recently?
Recently we hired a guy from Canada, Canadian recruiter. We hired him just after the pandemic. I mean, when the pandemic started to slow down a little bit. So, but we do in the past, we hired, I think, 2-3 guys, 3 back at our previous company. So again, usually I think it's a great move, honestly, if you're like in your 20s. I think you don't really have any, particular commitments, families, kids, schooling, all that kind of stuff. I think
the good times, hey?
I think we got probably a couple of specific like success stories. I think talking about maybe Mira is a good one, right? We Ukrainian recruiter, so having a bit of a tough time at the moment, but she's battling through. And she was working in a bar in Tokyo, and it's funny how bar staff often make awesome recruiters.
Yeah, of course they do.
They got the chat, and they can.
And they're doing a harder job, like for the most part, like especially if it's a late at night bar. It's
exactly right. She's been with us, I think, 15 months. She joined us as an associate consultant, no experience. Now a senior consultant in that time. We were just talking to her outside today. Actually, she was saying she's just about to close a deal, which is like a $70,000 deal fee. So a really big fee. And she met the candidate at a networking event. She just said she was stood next to him, and she said, "Look, I need to go to the toilet. Can you hold my wine?" Held it, and then when she came back, they started talking, and she's just about to place him for $70,000. So that'll do.
Lovely. What will she get out of that? She's going to get.
Well, we have a commission scheme up to 50%. I think Mira's on 40.
So she get like 30,000 USD, something like that.
What can you do with that money in Tokyo? Talk to me about the fun stuff. Let me rewind back to Alex before the kids and all that. Talk to me about what you do in Tokyo with $40,000 on the weekend. Let's go.
You can literally do anything you want. Tokyo is one of those cities where, regardless of what tickles your fancy, there is it's available in Tokyo, I'd say. So I think obviously the nightlife's amazing. I mean, Tokyo's
great bars, great restaurants. It's pretty much full of. All the young people from Japan come to Tokyo because it's basically like a little state on its own. I think a little bit. So it's really vibrant. Lots of clubs. There's just lots of karaoke, of course, for people that like singing. Yeah,
loads of top end restaurants. I think, our guys love it. The average age in our business is obviously a lot younger than me and Alex, and those guys, they work hard and play hard. They're out in the clubs, most weekends and some weekdays, I think, by the look of them when they come in. And but that's it. You're making great money, and the weather's great. City's great. 4
seasons. You can in Japan. You have everything, right? You can surf, you can ski. It's maybe the only downside, is of course it is Japan, so it's a bit isolated from the rest of the world. So to go back to Europe is it's a 12 hours flight. So it's a bit in the middle of nowhere. But
what if you want to get out of the city at the weekend? Is there is that super hard or?
No, it's really well connected. The train system. Everything is there. The underground. Everything is really It's very well built, very well organized. Everything ran beautifully, so compared to London, right, where everything is a bit chaotic, you always have delays on the, on the underground. Here is everything, everything is clean, everything is fully functioning.
Our guys do, they get out of the city all the time on the weekend. I mean, when ski season, you can literally get on the bullet train, and that will take you right to the steps of a ski resort.
No way.
You're literally off the train onto the slopes, which is amazing. You're within an hour of amazing beaches. Even in Tokyo, you can fly to Okinawa if you want to, which is where they filmed Karate Kid 2, is it, or 3, which is a beautiful beach resort. 2-hour flight, just get off you go. It's really good, So you can do a lot.
There's a lot to do, and again, you're not too far from Southeast Asia, so going to Thailand or Vietnam or all these kind of places is like 3-4 hours, right? So it's pretty cool.
What's the work culture like? Is it mainly office based? Is it what's the kind of average hours that recruiters come in and do, and what does that look like?
Yeah, we operate. I think we're pretty unique. I think we are some of the last company that we do only office work. We don't operate under any hybrid or remote work. So we have everybody in the office 5 days a week, and for us it's working. So we're gonna keep on doing it. Around it, we were very flexible. We have flex hours, and I think the job in Japan is pretty social. So you do get to. And I think we encourage a lot of our recruiters to, entertain client and candidates. So you do a lot of the businesses in a slightly more, again, sophisticated way. So lots of lunches and dinners in nice places, I think, is kind of part of the job. But we have a young team, pretty diverse. We have some really, I think maybe the average age with us is probably like mid-30, I would say.
Younger. Way younger. Yeah, I think it's more like 27. 28. Yeah, 28.
No, it's probably older than the average room in Australia, for example, where you get a lot of 20, like it might be 25, 26, because they'll go on the work and holiday visa. So we move a lot of people different locations. There's different visa requirements. Is it just people from the UK that you guys hire? You mentioned Ukraine. If somebody's watching this and thinking, I've been to Japan before, but okay, might be interested. What countries can you get visas from? What can't you? Do they need to be like trained in a UK system? What does that profile look like when you're going through it?
Yeah, the visa requirements are pretty, much easier than Australia, I think, and some other places. So it's we can provide a working visa. I think if you have a valid offer letter and a university degree. If you don't have a university degree, you need a certain amount of work experience. But we can usually give advice on that, and then if you have that, we can handle the visa process for people, and we get them over, and it works really well.
Lovely.
Usually we hook people up with all the we do all the social insurance, health insurance, all the kind of stuff. When they come in, we take care of all of that, and real estate agents, all the kind of stuff, right? So
I can imagine it's super daunting. Like in Australia, you could land with a paper bag and you'd be fine. Like it's
Japan is a bit more unique, right? So that's why we have all our back office is Japanese, right? So of course our back office people take care of all this kind of stuff, because we mainly at the moment, we out of 50 people, maybe 15% of our business, 20% is Japanese, the rest is foreigners, and we want to keep it that way. We want to have predominantly like an international business here, so you kind of need a little bit of that help sometimes.
And what is the breakdown of your 50 people look like at the moment, like in terms of the billers? Which areas are you recruiting for?
We got to grow a business to like 200 people, so we're recruiting for all areas right now. We got. I mean, honestly, we're really diverse. We're just having this conversation today that we're strong in some of the core areas. IT was our top billing team last year. Life science did very well. We're really strong in financial services, but across all teams, we have scope to hire the right people.
We're pretty, we're structured the same way as, again, Robert Waters, Michael Page, Hayes, and these guys, right? So we do everything, but we have specialized teams that take care of different job function and industry. So I think now probably be 10, 15 teams, legal, HR, accounting and finance, life science, IT, consumer, manufacturing, the
list goes on.
And the last time I worked with you guys, you were happy to move people from one discipline to the next if they had the kind of right stuff about them. Is that still the case where you're kind of agnostic on that, or where do you sit?
I think we're a bit more. I think we're slightly more strict this time. I think we like to, especially because sometimes, to be honest with you, it worked and sometimes it didn't work. So some people already making a jump to a country like Japan, you do need to have a little bit of time to adapt and basically you have to rebuild your network with clients and candidates as well, right? So actually doing the same thing as you were doing previously, it just is a massive help, and it actually reduces the pressure on the person itself because they do something they're familiar with.
I usually do just like, if you're going to move countries, like don't change disciplines as well.
That's right.
Like it's a lot, as you said, it's a lot of pressure, especially if, let's say you're doing an operational function and you have to go into IT. You're like, to become an IT recruiter, it takes a lot of learning, especially if you're not just doing one particular technology.
Yeah, Japan is big again. I think it's easier to move. I think to an English-speaking country in the end. Japan used to, even if you're dealing with Japanese people that speak fluent English, they're still Japanese people, right? So the culture is a little bit different, and how you handle them is a bit different. So it's easier again to get people to do the same thing.
And how do salaries compare to the UK, USA, Australia? What does that look like for the range of those recruiters?
I think they're much higher in Japan. We pay more. I don't know what the salary in UK is right now, but you certainly get like a 15-20% salary increase on your base only. And our commission scheme we design a commission scheme that is basically the best in Japan. So you can make way more money. Matt was talking about this lady, right? Mira, right? But we had one guy last quarter that made what was 80,000 USD.
Yeah, about 85,000 US dollars.
You're gonna make me start howling at the moon here. 80,000, right?
This guy's only been with us 18 months, and Q1.
If somebody had handed me that at 24, I'd be dead.
His life is changed.
He nearly is dead, I think.
We had one of our managers last month. She billed 20 million Japanese yen, which is 200,000.
200,000
2 placements
USD. 2 placements in 1 month.
Wow. And is it just like young recruiters, or do you have leadership positions as well? Like, what does that look like because you're going to triple in size? So what does that roadmap look like within those areas?
I think for us, what we're really good, I think, and what's really working for us is people that are sort of up and coming, right? So we're probably not going to go for a really, really experienced director, right? We prefer to homegrown, our staff if we can. So we kind of go, usually if we hire a senior con, then we hire them for usually a spot that in a pretty short period of time, like 6 to 9 months, he could become a manager basically. And then we have really good relationship, I think, here in Japan with universities, and then we give him a team of associates that he can grow and build himself.
So if you're old like me, forget about it.
That's it. You're done with
have to be
No chance.
No chance. We're very strict, we're very annoying as a client.
No, that's. I mean, look, I think. For the large part of it, recruitment, in my view, and this might be an unpopular opinion, it is a young man's game or a young person's game, and it takes a lot of commitment in those early stages. If you're working in a team and it's growing and all of that, and there's a reason that profile is universal. It's because it's just always worked, right?
Yeah, no, I think we, over the years, we developed a really nice academy system. I think that, Matt and I develop and design really. So we're having huge success with associate consultants here, and we get them from. I mean, we're really selective. Just to give you an idea, Matt and I interview around 200 people per quarter to get 5 to 10 new hires. So that's pretty insane. I know. So we're really selective. I think we have developed a taste for what we like and for, I think what works for us. And around it, we design an academy system that I think is really good. And we offer a 360 position straight away. So our guys from the first day, they're on the phone. We give them a decent client portfolio that can make money out of it. And all our ACs, they make their first placement within 3 months. And they get promoted on average between 6 to 9 months to a consultant role. And, so already the bar for AC is really high. So when we get to, to hire people from outside, we're looking for, I'm not saying the best of the best, but, we try to get those really, really high quality recruiters, I think.
All right. Gentlemen, that is us for now. Thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
Love to hear more about Japan another time. And congratulations on your success, especially setting up in COVID to get to this point.
Thank you.
And we will catch up again soon.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
See you soon.
All right, everybody. That was Alex and Matt in Japan. If you're interested in looking at opportunities in the Tokyo market, hit me up. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Thank you for listening. And we will send some information after this ends.